lame-brained, stupid ideas. I want answers. It was your fault, wasn't it, Mom? You okayed this thing, didn't you? What were you thinking?
Great news, guys. We got another show.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. It's on, baby.
This is the story of two men, Chris and Ari, busted for indecent behavior at a Microsoft conference. Their punishment? A community service show on Microsoft Visual BASIC.net. That's right, VBTV presents Chris and Ari's Cheap Ass Show with guests Visual Bucky, Control Freak Mark Bolter, the VB Rapper, Big Daddy Mikey Biggs, and the Head in the Box. And now your hosts, Chris and Ari.
Hey, all right.
Ah, yeah.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. Welcome back to you. You're looking good.
Thanks. Did you lose some weight?
I did. I did indeed.
You did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 2 of the award-winning VBTV.
Otherwise known as
Very bad TV.
television.
Yes, indeed. Affectionately known. Listen, if you made it through episode 1 and for whatever reason have come back for more, we thank you for your support. If you're new to VBTV, we welcome you to what promises to be a very interesting hour. Now, what is VBTV and who is it for? Well, if you're a VB6 developer, you're new to .NET development, this is the place to be. If you're a new programmer interested in learning about the coolest, most powerful developer tool available today, again, this is the place to be. If, however, you are looking for witty banter, classic one-liners, and anything other than lowbrow humor about rednecks and their pet sheep, I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place. Chris, why don't you tell them about what's on today's episode?
Sure. Well, in last episode, we did a really good job covering all of the various aspects of VBTV.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Receiving a lot of great email on that.
We have been getting a lot of good email.
Yeah.
Now, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be covering Windows development, right?
Exactly. Today, we're really going to dive into two of the most popular and most used areas of VB, the Windows Forms Designer and how to create custom controls.
That sounds great. I am psyched about this episode. Now, you mentioned we've gotten a lot of good feedback since we shot episode 1.
Yeah, we brought some of that. We have some of that mail that's been pouring in by the thousands.
Let's bring out some of that fan mail.
Bring it on. Oh, did you have any idea that we'd get such great feedback on the show?
This is really
This is
encouraging.
great.
What have we got here?
Excellent.
Got all your hate mail.
Wait a minute. So, all right. Well, we can't get through all of that. Why don't you bring out the good stuff?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I almost forgot.
This is the positive feedback.
That's it.
This is merely a representation of all the wonderful feedback that we have.
Yes, indeed. Why don't you read that, boss?
This is from Little Betty in Denver, Colorado.
Little Betty, thank you for writing.
Let's see what Little Betty has to say about the show today.
I'm excited.
Dear Chris and Ari. Wow, that's us, man.
Good deal. Good
It's
deal.
us. I really loved your show. Wow.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you for taking the time to write in and tell us about all the great things that we're doing here. I really love to see two Microsoft product managers stand up and make complete Uh-oh. Well, it's important that they love the show anyways. Later on in the show, we're going to have to go through some more of this great positive feedback that we've received, so please stick around. We have a lot more to come.
Why don't we go ahead and kick things off? DJ VB, do your thing, baby.
I'm going to save that good one.
Absolutely. DJ VB, how you doing, man?
Hi, guys.
You have a good trip to Vegas?
I had a great trip to Vegas.
You remember anything about it? Okay.
No.
All right.
No, I really don't.
Wonderful.
I got married somehow, though.
You got your hair done, too. Was that before or after the wedding?
During.
You look
During
fabulous,
the wedding.
honey. You look
And
fabulous.
you look great, too.
All right, gentlemen, enough of this banter. This is a serious show we've got here.
Let's get to it.
This is the first part of the show we like to call Geek Speak.
Object orientation, implementation, interface, parameterized constructors. I'm gonna start throwing up here in a second.
Oh yes. Geek Speak, the meat of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I gotta tell you, before I came to Microsoft, I saw it out here as being just like a big black hole, you know? And Chris and I are here to really dispel that myth today. We want to show you the softer, gentler, human side of Microsoft. Chris, how are we going to do that?
Well, today we have a very special guest star. I'd like to introduce Microsoft asset number 7642951, otherwise known as Mark Bolter, otherwise known as the Windows Forms Designer.
All right, Mr. Bolter, come on out. Yes. Oh my goodness. Mark, how are you?
All right, thanks. Hi, Harry. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Chris.
You are the guy.
I am, apparently.
The guy behind the guy. Wow. So you are the Windows Forms designer.
I'm one of the designers.
So tell us about what you do. What do you do here at Microsoft? What is your job? What do you do on the Windows Forms team?
So I'm what's called a program manager. So I'm responsible for
The program.
the program, yeah, which in this case is Windows Forms. So
All
I'm
right.
responsible for designing the API, the public API, what it looks like, listening to customers, understanding what they need, those kind of things.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so I
Sounds
get my
fascinating.
T-shirt now?
So if there are
Afraid not.
if
No.
there are features
No.
in the Windows Forms Designer that people really don't like, we have you to blame.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
So my dev team says all the stuff you like in Windows Forms, you can thank them for. All the stuff you don't like, you can blame me for.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, let me ask you a question. Why are we even talking about Windows Forms in the first place? You know, I think there's this impression that everyone's moving to the web. So Windows, tell me about why Windows development is still relevant.
So most of the reasons that people wanted, or many of the reasons that people wanted to move to the web, are things that we solved with the .NET framework.
Really?
So one of the big issues was DLL hell. With the first version of the .NET framework, we solved DLL hell.
Betty and Veronica told us a little bit about that in episode 1.
Yeah, so I understand.
Excellent.
We'd like that, me and Betty and Veronica.
Yeah, you wish. All right. So what are some of the other shortcomings of Windows that we addressed?
Deployment's another big issue. What we
Right.
wanted to do was get to the point where deploying Windows applications was as easy as clicking on a link in a web page. We got a long way there in the first version, and we're working hard to make that even a better experience in the future.
What about things like form inheritance and control extensibility? You guys?
So those are all big things. Code access security, being able to build trustworthy applications, is another big thing we've done.
Yep.
Forms inheritance is another big thing that we addressed in Windows Forms. Being able to develop a form and then take a new form based on that existing form. A much more powerful and extensible model for building controls, both from the flexibility of actually writing the controls themselves and then from the flexibility of the design time.
You have an exciting job, sir.
I do. It's all fun.
Now, before you came to Microsoft, I understand that you were a bodybuilder and a male model. Is that right?
That's true. In the past life, I was a bodybuilder.
Well, that's interesting. I think do we have a picture of Mark in his form?
Woo!
Is that really him? Let's take a closer look. Is that Mark?
That is definitely me.
Woo! It is getting warm in here. My goodness.
Can I have that picture afterwards?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it's clear that you've been keeping up with your
Oh,
Look at that.
absolutely.
How do you do it? How do you do it? You are gorgeous. Wow. Okay. All right.
Do I get my T-shirt now?
Not a chance in. No. You're only yes. Mark, why don't you tell us a bit? Okay, so we were talking a bit about controls, right?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a bit about Windows Forms controls versus ActiveX controls?
Okay, so ActiveX controls were pretty cool in the day.
Yep.
But one of the big problems with ActiveX controls is that there was no standard implementation of the ActiveX control container.
Right.
And so what you get is most controls would work really well in VB6 because VB6 was just a kick ActiveX control container.
I think you're allowed to say that. It's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
It was a rocking ActiveX control
Indeed.
container.
That's one of the approved
But-
words.
I
All
think we can say that.
Okay.
I think we'll cut it out afterward.
Okay.
Don't worry. Post-production.
Okay, so it was a kick control container, but the problem was you take those same controls and you'd put them in IE or another product, say Front Page or something like
Right.
that, and those controls would kind of turn over on their backs and their legs would wriggle and they'd scream.
Crash
You
and
know,
burn.
Crash and
I
burn.
remember that.
And so the reason for that was that ActiveX was based around the definition of a set of interfaces, but with no standard implementation of those interfaces.
And now with Windows Forms, that's different?
Yeah, with Windows Forms it's different. We have a control base class because we're inheritance based. We can actually provide that standard implementation, and all of the control container communication logic is encapsulated in that base class control. And then when you build a control, you just get all of that behavior for free, and you don't have to worry about testing things in different containers. It just works.
But even so, we have a new control model. You can still use your old ActiveX controls.
Oh,
if you need
absolutely.
to.
We did an enormous amount of work to make sure as many of the existing ActiveX controls worked as possible. And we also did a lot of work with the guys who built ActiveX controls to help them get started on building Windows Forms controls and ASP.NET controls. So you can go out and you can buy a big range of Windows Forms and ASP.NET controls now.
Fascinating. Now, let's talk about fun stuff, right? What are some of the fun things that VB developers are going to love about Windows Forms?
So I'd say
Enlighten us.
The light bulb goes on. I think kind of one of the more interesting things is GDI Plus. I mean, GDI Plus allows you to do some really cool graphics stuff that was pretty hard to do in VB6. I mean, the graphics library in VB6 was pretty limited, and GDI Plus gives you the full power of the platform. It allows you to do all sorts of image manipulation, alpha blending. You can
So I can blend all of those alphas together.
Yeah, that's right. You can.
Alpha blending.
You can end up with brown, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we've even that's
time.
right.
Nice.
I think we've even got a demo of that coming up shortly.
That's
very
cool.
good stuff. Very good stuff. Now, okay, so let's talk about the maturity of Windows Forms, right? This is kind of a version 1 product, right?
It is kind of a version 1 product. I mean, it was based on some work that we'd done before, but also we one of the big things from my team was actually dog fooding what we did. So
fooding what you did.
Yeah, so eating our own dog food.
It sounds
And so we, if you look at Visual,
appetizing.
Extremely appetizing. So if you look at VisualStudio.net,
yeah,
like the Windows Forms designer is built in Windows Forms, the property browser is built in Windows Forms, all of the property editors are built in Windows Forms. There's a chunk of the ASP.NET property editors that are built in Windows Forms as well. So we really used Windows Forms a lot in building VisualStudio.net as a way of proving that you could build real-world.
So that surely helped us work out a lot of the kinks that we had in the early versions.
That's right. And we work with a lot of customers, and there's a lot of customers building Windows Forms apps today, and we've got a lot of good feedback from those customers. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we've got a lot of cool stuff in Windows Forms today. I imagine we probably have some really cool stuff just around the corner, right?
Absolutely.
So just between the three of us, can you tell us about VB.NET, the next version?
No.
Come on, I mean, it's off the record, man. You can tell. We'll cut it.
We're going to edit this out. It's all right.
Nope. No, I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Can I just get my T-shirt now and go?
Sorry.
Before you go, we have one last question for you, my man.
Okay.
What is the best, most productive, highly leverageable programming language in the world?
VB.NET, of course.
Beautiful. Yeah. You heard it here, folks. Straight from the man. Now, Mark, you've been asking about your T-shirt. We actually do have a parting gift for you. It is the official VBTV T-shirt. Can we get a close-up of this?
Soon to be a classic.
Absolutely. That is for you, my friend. And
Lovely.
I have an extra special gift for you.
Oh, cool.
Let me see what we've got here.
You're really going to like this.
It's Visual Bucky's favorite pet sheep.
Oh,
yeah. For you, my friend. Yeah.
It likes me.
And you two look good together.
Yeah,
you two
we
look
do,
good
don't we?
together.
Don't we?
Goodness.
It's clear that you've handled sheep before.
I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for the Windows Forms designer, Mark Bolter. Thank you, my man.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
You treat her right now. Wow. Good stuff. That is one sexy dude. Anyway, that was some really cool stuff we were just talking about. How about we show you the goods? Y'all ready for a demo?
Time for some code.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. What do we got over here? What do we got, boss? What do we got?
Well, this is our official meat fridge, otherwise known as the demo fridge.
The meat fridge, a.k.a. the demo fridge. We're going to show you all a big old introduction to Windows Forms. Can we see one of those sexy little pop-up windows?
I must say, that was one of the best demos I have seen you do yet.
You like my demo?
Smashing.
Thank you, boss. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the excitement has just begun. Stick around. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with another demo on building controls. I'm going to grab a drink. DJ VB, take it away, man. Hey, man.
Hey.
What's the matter? Why so blue?
I don't know. Kind of depressed. My wife left me. My dog ran away. And on top of all that, I just found out I only have 2 weeks to live.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, this'll cheer you up.
What is it?
It's my new Component One Studio Enterprise, that's what.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You know, with Component One Studio Enterprise, I get a comprehensive component subscription, including Component 1 Studio for ActiveX, Component 1 Studio for .NET, and Component 1 Studio for ASP.NET.
Wow, I need that.
You sure do. Component 1 Studio Enterprise delivers the most complete solution available anywhere for enterprise-wide development in VB.NET or any Microsoft development environment.
You're kidding.
Would I lie to you? Don't answer that. With Component 1 Studio Enterprise, I get grid components, reporting components, charting components, data components, UI components, and e-commerce components. You know, you won't find another collection of components that offers this level of performance, flexibility, value, and service anywhere.
Wow, you know, I'm starting to feel better already.
See, life ain't all that bad. Hey, isn't that your wife over there with her new boyfriend?
Oh, hey, so it is. Hi.
One, man.
Great. They do some great stuff.
Saving the world again.
Thanks,
Saving
Gustavo.
the world
Great
again.
controls.
You got some good stuff, man. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We wanted to chock this episode full of hot, sexy demos, so we got another one for you. What are we going to see in this demo, boss man?
We're going to see some control building. We're going to dive into building aggregate controls. We're going to see some control inheritance. Lots of great stuff.
It sounds exciting. Why don't we go ahead and do it? Pretty cool stuff, huh?
Excellent demo. Very good.
Thanks, man. He's a great guy. Anyway, we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we've got some really exciting stuff. We have got the Big Daddy himself, Mikey Biggs, and of course, the notorious Head in the Box. Yeah.
Hey kids, learn VB skills at the Ari Bixhorn School of Programming. At the Ari Bixhorn School of Programming, you'll learn the latest Visual BASIC programming skills using modern state-of-the-art equipment. Learn object-oriented programming, ADO.NET data access, and Windows Forms tips and tricks.
Can you teach me how to hotwire a car?
Absolutely. I'll have you jacking a ride in no time. It's fun. It's fast. It's the Ari Bixhorn School of Programming. Say, where'd you learn to do that great VB?
At the Ari Bixhorn School of Programming.
Learn VB like the pros at the Ari Bixhorn School of Programming. Results may vary. The Ari Bixhorn School of Programming is non-accredited and not endorsed by the Microsoft Corporation. Not affiliated with the Ari Bixhorn School of Exotic Dancing.
Yes, indeed. We are back. Now, if you remember, in episode 1, we talked a little bit about application deployment in .NET with our two friends, Betty and Veronica. Well, we've gotten a lot of questions since then about really providing a good drill down into what deployment means for VB developers. And to help us out, here on episode 2 is your favorite head and mine, Head in the Box. Here he comes.
All right, there he is. There she is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hey!
Oh,
Whoa.
man.
Dude, what you got going on in there, man?
Just smoking some, burning some incense.
Burning some incense, are you?
Yeah.
Having a little party going on in
yes. Can you help me clean up a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Must be nice to live in your own lunchbox.
Didn't have a lot of time to,
Yeah, that's stuck to your... Oh, sorry. There we go. It's
Okay,
just,
thank you guys.
Yeah. How you been, man?
I've been doing great. Yeah, having lots of fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah.
we kind of intruded upon you there.
It's okay. I'm always there for you guys.
Hey, we appreciate it. Hey, you ready to tell us a little bit about deployment?
Oh, yes, sure.
Good
Deployment,
deal.
Yep.
Good deal. So you know, Betty and Veronica kind of gave us, you know, the heads up on deployment last time.
Yep, I remember that.
We want to talk a little bit about, you know, some of the issues that people are facing. Well, actually, one of the questions that I get a lot is, why did we implement this COM-based deployment scheme in the first place, right? I mean, we talked about the problems of DLL hell. One of the questions I always get is, why did we do this thing in the first place that would allow for DLL hell?
Sure. You know, remember, you have to look at the time this stuff was invented. At that time, disk space was very expensive. RAM was, you know, very scarce.
Right.
So then it made sense that applications would share DLLs. Okay, so they would not, you know, have all their private copies of those libraries, but there would be, you know, one copy that would be shared by everything. And then the applications would use the registry to find out where these shared libraries were.
Interesting, interesting. So when disk space and RAM were, not as much of a commodity as they are today, this was actually a sound implementation for.
Yep, sure. But and the nice thing is still this stuff is still there. So VB.NET programmers can still use COM components via that whole infrastructure that's still there. So that's really great.
That brings up an interesting point because we talk about Xcopy deployment right now. In terms of VB developers being able to take advantage of Xcopy deployment, are there a lot of scenarios where they can do that? A lot of the common scenarios?
Oh, yes. So Xcopy deployment works really well for things like web apps and, XML web services, but also for the typical VB scenario where you have an application that uses Windows forms, custom controls, some business logic, and then you can just, grab all your assemblies, copy them to somewhere and, run it from there. So that's really great.
Now, Xcopy deployment sounds awesome. I've got an application. I throw it onto a little USB key or a floppy disk.
Exactly. No
whatever.
registration required.
Now, does that mean that we no longer rely on the registry or on things like install packages, or is there still a place for those?
Oh, sure. So if you want to do something slightly more complicated, so suppose you want to use COM interop, you need to install SQL database, message queue.
Right.
Or if you want to have a slightly more advanced installation where you put things on the desktop shortcuts in your add remove programs,
like in the control
panel,
right?
yes, all these kind of things, then Xcopy deployment won't work.
So what do we have for VB developers in VisualBasic.net to do a more complex install?
Okay, so for the Visual Studio development environment gives Visual Basic programmers the ability to create install packages really easily. So there are all kind of wizards that take you through all the steps to do that.
Nice.
Yes.
So they'll take you through the packaging up of your entire app.
Yes, exactly.
And what do we use? Do we use Windows installer or?
Yes, Windows installer, and yep.
And so what does that give us? That allows us to do things like rollbacks during install and things like that?
Sure. So for example, during the installation, something goes wrong.
Right.
You don't want to leave this
in a limbo state.
Limbo state. No, that's
Limbo
really bad. Limbo. Okay, yeah. So then, it allows you to auto repair stuff. You can do nice splash screens. And
so if your application gets corrupt, Windows installer can do some auto repair for you?
Exactly, yes.
Very nice. I tend to corrupt my applications quite a bit.
Oh, well, then, sure, you want to use Windows installer, yeah.
Wonderful.
That's why you're in marketing.
Hey.
Yep.
What else do we have? No touch deployment. No touch deployment. You all right, Ed?
Well, what was it again?
We get a lot of questions on no touch deployment.
No touch deployment. Oh, no touch deployment. Yes, sure. Very interesting. No touch deployment means that the user goes with his browser to some website and clicks on that application, then it will get downloaded into the download cache and run from there.
So given the fact that you have no hands, I guess no touch deployment was your idea?
Oh yeah, that's really good, yeah. Oh yeah. So, and remember that we talked about code access security last time?
Yeah.
Okay, so here things come into a full circle, because once this thing is downloaded, the runtime kicks in and checks whether this application has enough permissions to run.
All right, because you could have downloaded this application from anywhere, right?
From anywhere, right, yes. And so
is this like where trickle-down deployment comes from, where we have part of an app sitting on our machine, part of it still up on the server, and it only downloads the Windows forms that we need?
Yes, exactly.
As they're needed?
Yep, so suppose you have an application that has kind of, say, 200 forms, right? You don't want to download them all at once.
That could be a hefty install.
Exactly. So just when you use that form, it gets downloaded on demand.
It's all about the user experience.
Yes.
It sure is. Ed, once again, man, you have shown us your wizard-like ways. Listen, I want to let you go, man. Get back to your party or whatever you were doing in there.
Okay, great.
Dude, good seeing you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Bye-bye.
Can we count on you for the next episode?
Of course, sure.
You are the man.
Excellent. Ed, we will see you later.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
All right, buddy. See you later, man.
You've been great help, as always.
Woo-hoo. That guy is always ahead of the game. Always.
We've got to figure out how to stump this guy.
We will. Next episode. Now, what Ed was talking about was pretty cool, but, of course, the real juice comes in seeing how to actually do things like deployment. You wanna do that?
Let's do it. Let's see some code.
Y'all want to see another demo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. All right. What do we have for a demo? Ah, yes. It's the moment you have all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very pleased to introduce the man who thinks that dim sum is the start of an accounting program, the real father of Visual Basic, Big Daddy, Mikey B.
Hey, Ari, what's up, baby?
What's happening, dude? How you doing?
All right.
Huh,
I got some
right.
great stuff for you today.
That's all good, man. You're up here. I need you down here, all
Okay.
right? It's all good.
I got some exciting stuff. The smart client's back. We're going to talk about no-touch deployment.
Wow. Wow. Mikey Biggs, you really are the big daddy of VB, ain't you?
Thanks, Ari.
Give me some love, baby. And listen, man, run along. Why don't you go play in traffic? There you go. All right. Hey, Chris, back to you.
Mikey Biggs and Ari, I swear, that was the best demo that I've ever seen. Head, what do we have up next?
Well, up next we have a very, very special guest, the VB rapper. So stay tuned, don't go away, and yeah.
Tonight, on Sports Tonight, it's the National Ski Marching Finals from Steamboat, Colorado. That's tonight on Sports Tonight.
Oh, yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. The moment you've all been waiting for. I give you the VB Rapper. Yeah.
Another Microsoft short shot. VB.net in full effect. 2001. Yo, this is the year. Another Ace Loving Rock Posse production. Yo, wait. Drop it.
It's Ace Love.
Yeah, Gil.
And we're back on the scene with VB.net,
a developer stream.
It was great in the past and is the #1 tool.
But now web services is here to break up all the rules.
Integration made simple for your VB app.
While some kids the same old.
VB.net simply outperforms, makes it easier than ever with the Windows forms.
It's easier than with the J-2-E.
It's VB.net and it can set you free. That's why we're saying it loud. VB.
Always making us proud.
VB standing out from the crowd. Control, docking the rock and taking out all fakes.
Object oriented, so we're up in the stakes.
The best of all, it's easily understood, cause it's still VB underneath its hood. We got you caught in the net. VB.
This is hot as it gets.
That was okay. That was wonderful. Mr. Rapper, if I may, how exactly did you become the VB Rapper?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's like all about survival in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's like I grew up on the hood, you know, and it's like,
yo, babe.
I mean, it's all about the paper checks. You know what I'm saying? The greenbacks. I got to get my bennies on. You know what I'm saying?
No, actually, no idea, no idea. Now, you are out on tour right now promoting your latest CD, is that right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like I've been rapping from the time I was a little one, you know, but it's like,
okay.
Now I got, I don't know, it's like my 12th CD out in this, you know, and it's like, so I'm out traveling around, getting my rap on, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so this record that I'm working on right now that I'm out promoting is called VB.net Down with OOP. You know what I'm saying?
Down with OOP. That's adorable. Do you have would you say that you have a favorite feature in Visual Basic.net?
What's up?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like everything in VB.net has allowed me to become a better person, you know what I'm saying? It's like rise up, you know what I'm saying? Phoenix style.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know, I kind of like calm interrupt, you know, because it's like I got all this existing code out there, you know what I'm saying? Code that's already out, you know what I'm saying? It's like what I do, I can just reference that and then call it from VB.net, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah.
Yes. Charming, charming. Do you have any words for, I don't know, for disbelievers in Visual Basic.net?
Disbelievers in Visual Basic.net? Well, man, I mean, I ain't even gonna dignify that question, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna dignify them fools up on my airtime, you know? I mean, if they can't come correct, see the real deal in VB.net, they can't swim, you know? They bound to drizzle.
Bound to drizzle. All right, well, I got a lot out of this interview. How about you, man?
It was the best interview I've ever seen.
It really was. VB Rapper, do you have anything to show us? Anything at all?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's like I've been slanging some code on the side, you know. I got a little demo up in here if you want to see that.
You called me dog. All right. Hey, VB Rapper, that was marvelous. You have got mad skills, my friend. Mad skills. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it's time for the Buckster. Visual Bucky and his toothy tip. Stick around.
Guests of the Cheap Show stay at the luxurious Bixhorn Hotel and Resort. Locations coast to coast. Next time, make it the Bix.
And now the man who walks his son to school because they're in the same grade, Visual Bucky's toothy tips. Hi. How are y'all doing? My name is Bucky, and I'm a Visual Basic developer. Now, a lot of people ask me, Bucky, how's a guy like you with just a third grade education ever make something of himself? Well, I'll tell you, it's all about Visual Basic, y'all. And in fact, today I'm going to share my scholarly, erudite ways with y'all by taking some questions from our live studio audience. Y'all probably didn't even know that we had a live studio audience now, did you? Well, go on, take a look. See? It's a packed house out there, isn't it? Now, who am I going to take questions from today? Let's see. Who do we have? You.
Well, I've been using control arrays in a lot of my VB6 applications. However, VB.NET doesn't seem to support these. How exactly do I get around this?
Well, now let me see here. Do I know the answer to your question? Of course I do. Now, control arrays are great because they allow you to handle multiple controls events with writing your code only once. You follow me?
Yeah.
Well, we handle it a little bit differently in VisualBasic.NET. In fact, we use this thing called the handles clause, all right? So when I write my event handling code in VB.NET, at the end of my event handling signature, what I'm going to do is put this handles statement, and then I'm going to list the controls and the events that we want to handle. Does that answer your question?
Thanks, Bucky.
Of course it does. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, I do believe we have time for one more question out here. Getting a little frisky back there, isn't she? Well, who should we take a question from? How about you?
Здравствуй, Баки. Я разрабатываю Windows Forms приложение и не знаю, как сделать так, чтобы его можно было минимизировать на системный бар.
Да. К сожалению, я пока не говорю по-русски. Y'all didn't know I had that in me now, did you? Now, the question was, how do I minimize my application to the notification tray? Well, it's quite simple. I'll tell you how. Here's what you're going to do. First, you're going to click on your Windows form inside the designer, all right? After that, what you're going to want to do is set your show in taskbar property equal to false. Is that all right? Now, what you do after that is drag a notify icon control out onto your form, all right? You're going to set the icon property of it, and I like to set mine to a nice little picture. Often I use my little sheep friend here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, once you set the icon property, the only other thing that you have to do is write a little bit of event handling code behind the notify icon, click or double click event. Does that answer your question?
Да, спасибо, Баки.
Пожалуйста. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we got 2 tips in one day. That's pretty good.
My name is Bucky, and that was my Tuesday tip of the day. Thank you, Bucky. Wow.
Man is well versed.
He definitely is, and I like that little sheep of his. It's kind of cute. Anyway, folks, listen, you have got questions, we have got answers. It's time for our favorite part of the show, a little thing that we like to call the mail sack.
I think it's time to answer some of these questions.
That is a great idea, boss. You want to read some of the email questions we got from our fine viewers out there?
Sure. Our first email is from One Big Papa from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Mr. One Big writes, what is the easiest way to get the .NET framework onto somebody's PC?
Mr. Papa, that's a great question. When you're deploying a Windows Forms application, what you're going to want to do is include an executable file called .NETFX.exe, I believe. It's a single executable file that you include in your install package to deploy the .NET framework onto your client's machine. Now, should point out, though, that in Windows.NET Server, next version of our server-side operating system, you're going to have the .NET framework built into it, so you won't have to worry about that.
Pre-installed.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. What have we got?
Our next question is from Mrs. Lubig's kindergarten class, direct from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Kindergartners on VB.net.
And they write, where can I find out more information on the Windows Forms package?
I was actually just thinking about that the other night, and I did a little bit of research on the web. Here's what I found. First and foremost, msdn.microsoft.com, the Microsoft developer
thing.
MSDN, it's a great site to go to. It's got a lot of great information for VB developers, for VC developers. It is your one-stop shop on the web for developer-related information. Now, Windows Forms in particular, you can go to www.windowsforms.net, and you can find some great information there. All right? What else have we got? Well, there's got.net, okay? www.gotnet.com. Find a lot of good user samples up there and things of that sort.
All right.
What's next?
All right. Well, the next question is from Magic Fingers, straight from Fort Lee, New Jersey. Magic Fingers writes, how can I use those great Windows XP themes inside of my own VB applications?
Right. Windows XP themes. Very, very sexy stuff. Here's what you can do. Go up to msdn.microsoft.com and do a search on XP themes and visualstudio.net. What you'll find is a pointer to an add-in that will enable you to install this add-in into vs.net such that next time you go and hit New Project and bring up that New Project dialog box, you're going to see a themed Windows application project template. That will allow you to have Windows XP theme support in your VB.net applications.
Very cool.
What's next, man?
Well, the next one is from T-Stick from Central Oregon.
T-Stick, very nice.
All of my Visual Studio docking windows are way out of whack. I think I overused the Windows, the Visual Studio.net docking feature, and my windows are now lost.
Ed, you want to take that question?
How can we reset the docking windows if they become, let's say, out of whack? You're useless today.
Well, moving right along, you want to reset your docking windows in VS.net. This happens to me quite often, all right? I get a little overzealous with dragging and dropping my tool windows all over the place.
Let me guess, you set your reset docking window property to true?
Very close, very close. This guy is smarter than he looks. Not much, but hey, you're close, Try again. Actually, what you want to do is this. What you want to do is go ahead and click on Tools, the Tools menu, select Options, and then on the very first dialog box, you're going to hit the Reset Window Layout button. So you were close.
Could it be any easier?
Hey, all right. I do believe that brings us to the end of the mail sack and the end of another show. Wow, that was very exciting.
That was exciting.
We
need to do this again.
I think we do. Assuming we don't get fired, we definitely will. So what did we talk about today? We talked about Windows Forms and building Windows applications in VB.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Component One.
Thanks, Gustavo. You're the best.
You rock, man. Also wanted to point you up to the VBasic website on MSDN, msdn.microsoft.com/VBasic for 101 samples.
Not 100.
101.
And we have Mr. Mikey Biggs to thank for each and every one of those samples.
We do indeed. Mikey Biggs wrote each and every one of those himself. Scary. Now, we got a lot of great feedback since episode 1. We want to keep it coming. So if you like the show, if you think it sucks, send us an email, vbtv@microsoft.com. We mentioned the got.net website, great website for finding information on vb.net and Windows forms. I want to give a big shout out to Robert Hess and Erica over on the .net show. You guys rock.
Great stuff.
Really good stuff. If you want to try VisualBasic.net or VisualStudio.net before you buy it, there's this great thing called Pro Tier. If you go up to msdn.microsoft.com/vstudio/tryit, you can go ahead and try VisualStudio.net for free.
Whoa. Is that try it or try it?
I think it's the first one.
The first one.
Yeah, that one. That one. One last thing I'd like to point out. My man, Carl Franklin, he is running an absolute kick-ass web-based radio show called .NET Rocks. He's doing an awesome job. Check it out at www.franklins.net/.netrocks.asp. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Next episode is going to be a very, very special VBTV. It's going to be the Holiday Special. Oh, yeah. Until then, we are out of here. See y'all later. Woo! Great show.